In today's video, I want to discuss my new strategy for what cards I submit for grading and who I submit them to. In the last few weeks, we've had delays start to extend out further and further. First, it was PSA with their bulk orders taking over 6 months. Then Beckett, some of their orders for 10, 20, 30 days are starting to take double, sometimes triple the amount of time on their site. And then SGC, which was doing a pretty good job turning orders around, has now been swamped, and those orders are starting to reach double or triple the amount of times listed on their site. Add that in with PSA raising their bulk grading fees on 2017 Ultra Modern cards from $9 to $12 and from $10 to $15.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
And Beckett raising fees across the board about $5 to $10 on every single submission level. What will I do now? Before, my strategy was generally to send almost everything to PSA.
60% of the time, it works every time.
I had not submitted anything to SGC, and Beckett was very rare. Sometimes if it was a card that had a corner issue or some other issue surface issue that PSA would have significantly dinged, sometimes I sent that to Beckett just to be able to get a decent grade. So what is my strategy now? So what I have decided is that cards that I'll submit to BGS will still for the most part follow that strategy of having cards that PSA will most likely ding for a corner or surface issue, which Beckett tends to be a little bit easier on. So what does that mean? Well, I've got a few cards here that I'm going to show you on why I'm submitting them to Beckett. So first off, I'll have to crack this. This is actually a PSA 9 Zion Prism variation, and I thought this card was worthy of a 10. But I think Beckett, this is probably a 9.5, so I'll crack that and submit that to Beckett. But also cards like this, where PSA graded it an 8. The surface is fine. There's not really any centering issues with this kind of issue, but it does have the slightest touch of white up there in the corner. Beckett would probably give that an 8.5 corner, possibly even a 9, and I think this card is at least a 9 in Beckett, maybe even a 9.5 if they only ding that corner down to a 9, because everything else is pretty much flawless on the card. But in addition, I'm going to start sending Beckett some of the cards that I want to keep from my personal collection, just because I really like the holder, and PSA lately with the price increase tied with some of the harsher grading standards, I just feel more comfortable submitting them to Beckett. So here's a few different cards that I'll be submitting off to Beckett. And I'll probably wait until I get 100 cards so I can at least get the bulk submission price, even though that is now, I believe, $20 a card with subgrades for a 30-day order, which again probably takes more like 90 days. For PSA, I will no longer be submitting 2017 Ultra Modern cards and bulk submissions. That $3 increase just really kind of cuts into the margin, along with their toughing grading standards. I think there's better and other opportunities out there. But I will still be submitting anything that is older than 2017, because those prices, at least at this point, have not gone up. So anything that's older than 2017, that's base, I still think there's a lot of value in getting that graded. So that leaves SGC, which I have not submitted to in the past, but I'm going to start. And I have an email out to them to see what they can do for bulk pricing. But even so, on their website, they list $10 for the cheapest level that they offer, which is, I believe, a 20-day turnaround. But from what I'm hearing, that's probably more like a 60 or 70-day turnaround at this point. But anything that's 2017 to newer, and also some of the older cards that PSA population controls, those I'm going to send to SGC, just because I think they'll have a better chance if it's something that I'm looking to flip. If it's something that I'm looking to keep in my personal collection, I'm not going to send those to SGC. I know a lot of people like the holders. I just can't get into them, so those are still going to go off to Beckett or PSA. But for cards that I'm looking to flip that are on the low end, those are going to go off to SGC. So that's my new submission strategy. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think that changing to this is a good idea, and also let me know what you plan on doing going forward. Have a good one.